Good morning, Mr. Fanuel Hiiko.
Morning, Christian.
We are going to do a series of clips all around the budget. There's this saying that money makes the world go round, and therefore we would like to discuss with you some issues about the budget, and in particular the national budget of Namibia. So, can I just start with the first question? Why is it important for the public, but also civil society, to educate themselves about the Namibian budget?
Thank you so much for that question. Just to leech on to your statement of saying money makes the world go round, one would actually add to say actually money makes things happen. And in this regard, anything that is planned by government or even at an individual level can only happen once there is a budget and there is expenditure happening against this budget. So it's quite important that civil society organizations or the public must understand that budget is very important for the country, because everything that is to benefit them or any developmental activity is actually realized through the execution of the budget. So the very first thing that the public and civil societies must first understand is there is a budget at government level, just the same way as there is a budget at individual level, at their household levels. And government's income, if you look at that, really is mainly consisting of taxpayers' money. So the VAT that you pay, the income tax that you pay, is the one that actually forms part of the income of government. So it's quite important that you would understand first what makes up the income of government, and then secondly, how does government actually spend the money? In fact, it will be your money, because you are the public and the civil society. So for me, that is the core of the matter, and that whatever is spent with government money then eventually affects your household, whether it is as simple as the hospital or clinic that you visit to use when you are sick, to a road that you travel on in terms of the country, is all made possible because of a budget of government.
Thank you so much. Can you perhaps briefly describe the budget cycle within the year, the budget year?
Yeah. The very first thing that one must understand is that the financial calendar or year of government actually runs from April to March. So it's a full 12 months cycle, and it happens yearly. It's an annual basis where government gets to budget, and then it executes its budget within those 12 months for development purposes or activities to happen. So there are generally 4 stages when it comes to the national budget cycle. The first one is preparation, where the actual preparation happens, and then the second is then the approval. The third would then be the actual implementation, and then the 4th stage is what we call monitoring and control. Now, if we have to quickly deep dive within those different stages, you'd realize that under preparation, that mainly happens between June up until February, when the budget is then tabled at Parliament, is that there is typically a government circular that is released by the Ministry of Finance, Public Enterprises and National Planning Commission towards the ministries, the offices, ministries and agencies, so that they can actually start the budget preparation. And this circular is then, accompanied by, templates. One of the famous templates, especially when it comes to the development side, is what we call the project identification form. And on the side of the operational, that's where you find the more forms that then gets, completed on the operational side. So this circular is released to the sectors, and then the sectors have to do their consultation in preparation for this. And then after the preparation is done, they then submit these proposals to either the Ministry of Finance and the National Planning Commission. Just at this point, I want to just clarify that within the national budget, you find two types of budgets. You find the operational budget, for which the Ministry of Finance, Public Enterprises is very much, coordinating that implementation or the formulation. And then you would find the development budget, which is then now under the stewardship of the National Planning Commission. Under the development budget, you find the capital projects. This is now the building of roads, clinics, hospitals, schools. And of course, under the operational, you find the day-to-day running of government, salaries, fuel, stationery, and so forth. So just so that people are clear that there are two types of budget within the national budgets. So after those has happened and the proposals are submitted to the Ministry of Finance and National Planning Commission, generally there is what we call budget hearings that are held. And please remember, we are still within the preparation stage. So budget hearings are held where all sectors, come and present to these two, agencies of government to explain to them as to what they are going to do with the money that they are asking for. A lot of consultations back and forth actually happens. After we are done, those consultations are done. It is then tabled by the Minister of Finance at the National at Parliament, National Assembly, and that's where you hear now, it going public through newspapers and so on, in terms of the tabling. So a lot of debates within the two houses happen, National Assembly, National Council, and once those debates are finished and the budget is approved, becomes a law, then only does it go to the sectors for implementation. And that's now the third stage of implementation. That each ministry gets to spend the money for which they have asked for. And then of course you will see that stage 3 and 4 actually goes in tandem, because as you implement, you also need to do controlling and monitoring. And in controlling and monitoring, which is your fourth stage, that's when you actually do monitoring and evaluation. Just tracking, the spending of this money, as well as looking at the actual activities on which you are spending this money. So basically, that is the national budget cycle: preparation, approval, implementation, and monitoring and control. Those are the 4 stages.
Thank you so much. Okay.